What if the wall inside your house is not the upgrade you think it is? What if the old wall your grandparents tore out, the wall that took longer to build, the wall that cost more labor, the wall modern builders called outdated, was actually stronger, quieter, more repairable, and in many cases, built to last far longer than the paper-covered panels we use today? Because for centuries, homes were not lined with drywall. They were built with lath and plaster, thin wooden strips, wet plaster, skilled hands, and a hard mineral surface that could survive impacts, hold curves, block sound, and stay standing for generations. Then, almost suddenly, America walked away from it. Today, most new homes are wrapped inside with drywall, flat gypsum panels covered in paper, screwed to studs, taped, mudded, sanded, painted, and finished fast. Drywall became the default. But that raises a strange question. If old plaster walls were so strong, if they made homes feel more solid, if they lasted for decades, sometimes more than a century, why did modern America replace them with something that dents, cracks, crumbles, and can fail badly when water gets behind it? Welcome back to the channel. And if you've watched one of our earlier videos about forgotten wood, lost building tricks, or old materials modern builders abandoned, thank you for coming back. This channel is all about opening up the hidden history inside the things we build with. The walls, roofs, beams, floors, and materials we walk past every day without questioning them. And if you're new here, consider subscribing, because today we're not just talking about drywall. We're opening up the wall itself and asking why America replaced one of its strongest interior wall systems with something faster, flatter, and cheaper. And the answer is not as simple as drywall was better. In fact, the real story is about fire, labor, war, speed, money, housing booms, building standards, and one of the biggest trade-offs hidden inside modern homes. To understand why drywall won, you have to first understand what it replaced. Before drywall became normal, interior walls in many American homes were built using lath and plaster. The process was slow, messy, and skilled. Carpenters nailed thin wooden strips called lath horizontally across the wall studs, leaving small gaps between them. Then plasterers applied wet plaster over the lath. As the plaster pushed through the gaps, it formed little hooks behind the wood. These hardened hooks were called keys, and those keys locked the wall together. That is why old plaster walls can feel almost stone-like. They are not just a thin surface. They are a layered system. Wood lath, scratch coat, brown coat, finish coat. Each layer had a job. The first grabbed the lath, the second built thickness, the final layer created a smooth surface. The result was heavy, dense, and strong. You could knock on an old plaster wall and feel the difference immediately. It did not sound hollow like many modern walls. It had mass, it had weight, it had the feeling of something built, not simply attached. And that mass mattered. It helped reduce sound between rooms. It resisted everyday dents better than paper-faced board. It could follow arches, curves, and irregular old framing. It could be patched, skimmed, reshaped, and repaired by a skilled worker. That is one reason so many old homes still have their original plaster after 80, 100, or even 150 years. The wall system was not perfect. Far from it. Plaster could crack when a house settled. It took time to dry. It required skill. It was labor-intensive. It was heavy. And if water damage destroyed the plaster keys behind the wall, repairs could be difficult. But in terms of durability and feel, old plaster had something modern homeowners often notice the moment they step into an older house. The building feels solid. So why did America stop using it? The first clue is fire. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, American cities were obsessed with fireproofing. Urban fires had destroyed buildings, neighborhoods, and sometimes entire districts. Builders wanted materials that could slow flames inside structures. And gypsum, the mineral inside drywall, had an important advantage. When gypsum is heated, it releases water locked inside the mineral structure. That water turns to steam, and for a period of time, it helps slow the spread of heat and flame. That made gypsum board attractive, but at first, early wallboard was not seen as a luxury material. It was often seen as cheap, plain, and unfinished compared with real plaster. It was the shortcut, the substitute, the thing you used when you wanted walls faster. And that is the second clue: speed. A plaster wall could take days, sometimes longer. It needed multiple coats. It needed drying time. It needed trained plasterers. It needed craft. Drywall changed that. Instead of building the wall wet, layer by layer, builders could bring in factory-made sheets. Cut them, lift them, screw them, tape the seams, cover the joints, sand, paint. Suddenly, the wall became an assembly line product. And this was not a small change. It changed the rhythm of construction. A plaster wall was built on site. Drywall was manufactured in a factory and installed on site. That meant more predictable materials, faster schedules, less drying time, and less dependence on highly skilled plaster trades. This is where the story turns. Because the question was no longer, which wall is better? The question became, which wall lets us build more houses faster? And after World War II, America desperately wanted speed. Millions of soldiers came home, families formed, suburbs exploded. The country needed houses at a scale that old building methods struggled to meet. Developers did not want walls that needed long drying times and specialized plaster crews. They wanted repeatable construction, fast framing, fast wiring, fast insulation, fast wall finishing, fast sale. Drywall fit the new America perfectly. It was not the strongest wall, it was the fastest wall that was good enough. And sometimes, good enough is the most powerful force in modern construction. That is the uncomfortable part. Many materials do not win because they are the best. They win because they are cheaper, faster, easier to standardize, easier to train, easier to ship, easier to estimate, and easier to fit into a building system. Drywall did all of that. A plasterer needed skill built over time. A drywall crew could work faster with standardized sheets. A plaster wall needed wet material and curing time. Drywall arrived dry and flat. A plaster wall was heavy and slow. Drywall was lighter, cleaner, and easier to schedule. For large builders, that difference was everything. Because construction is not just about material performance, it is about timelines, labor costs, insurance, codes, supply chains, subcontractors, profit margins. The modern house was becoming more standardized, and drywall was the perfect wall for standardization. But here is where the story gets even more interesting. Drywall did not simply replace plaster because people hated plaster. It replaced plaster because the whole construction system changed around it. Walls became thinner, rooms became faster to finish, houses became easier to replicate. Developers could build entire neighborhoods with similar methods, and the more drywall was used, the more the workforce adapted to drywall. The more suppliers carried drywall, the more builders expected drywall, the more inspectors saw drywall, the more homeowners accepted drywall. Eventually, plaster stopped being normal, and once a material is no longer normal, it becomes expensive. Not always because the material itself is impossible to get, but because the skills disappear. That is one of the biggest hidden reasons forgotten materials vanish. The material does not always fail. The knowledge around it disappears. If few people know how to install it, it becomes costly. If few contractors offer it, it becomes inconvenient. If modern schedules are not designed around it, it becomes a problem. If buyers do not understand the difference, builders have no reason to pay more. So the older method is pushed out, not by one dramatic ban, but by thousands of ordinary decisions. A builder chooses speed. A developer chooses lower labor. A supplier stocks what sells. A buyer accepts what is standard. A trade school teaches what the market demands. A generation later, the old method looks strange. And then people walk through an old house and say, "Why does this feel so much better?" That is the irony of plaster. Many homeowners only notice what was lost after they experience it. Old plaster walls can feel quieter. They can feel denser. They can make a room feel less hollow. They can hold historic detail. They can survive small impacts that might dent drywall. They can be repaired in layers instead of replaced in sheets. But drywall has its own advantages, and this is where the story needs nuance. Drywall is not useless. It is not a scam. It is not automatically bad. It is affordable. It is fast. It is widely available. It has predictable fire-rated assemblies. It is easier to open up for electrical or plumbing work. It is easier for most modern contractors to repair. And for many homes, it performs well enough. That is why it won. Not because plaster had no value, but because drywall solved the problems builders cared about most in the modern era. Speed, cost, scale, standardization. The tragedy is not that drywall exists. The tragedy is that many people were never told there was a trade-off. They were told old plaster was outdated. They were told modern materials were automatically better. They were told progress moves in one direction. But buildings do not work that simply. Sometimes an older material is stronger but slower. Sometimes a newer material is cheaper but weaker. Sometimes the winner is not the best performer, but the best fit for the economy around it. And drywall may be one of the clearest examples. Look at a modern damaged drywall panel. A chair hits it and it dents. A doorknob swings into it and it breaks. Water sits behind it and the paper facing can become a problem. A flood can turn walls into demolition waste. Now look at old plaster. It can crack, yes. It can fail, yes. It can be expensive to repair, yes. But when maintained, it can remain in place for generations. That difference matters because modern homes are often judged by how they look when new. Old homes are judged by what survives. And plaster survived. That is why so many renovation experts tell homeowners not to rip out old plaster automatically. If it is stable, it may be worth saving. Because once you remove it, you are not just removing a wall surface. You are removing mass. You are removing sound resistance. You are removing historic craftsmanship. You are removing a system that belonged to a different idea of building, a slower idea, a heavier idea, a more permanent idea. And this is the larger pattern behind so many forgotten materials. The old world built with time. The modern world builds against time. The old wall was built wet by hand in layers. The modern wall arrives in sheets. The old wall needed patience. The modern wall needs a schedule. The old wall rewarded maintenance. The modern wall rewards replacement. That does not mean one is always right and the other is always wrong. But it does mean the story is more complicated than progress. Because if drywall truly replaced plaster simply by being better, then old plaster walls would be remembered as a bad idea. But they are not. They are still praised by restoration builders, still protected in historic homes, still repaired by specialists, still noticed by homeowners who say their old house feels quieter, heavier, and more solid than anything new. So maybe the real question is not, why did we stop using plaster? Maybe the real question is, what did we decide mattered more than durability? And the answer is uncomfortable. We chose speed. We chose lower labor cost. We chose mass production. We chose the material that made houses easier to build fast. And in many ways, that choice shaped the inside of almost every modern American home. The walls around us are not just walls, they are evidence of a decision. A decision about what modern building values most. Not always strength, not always longevity, not always craft, but efficiency. So the next time you knock on a hollow wall, remember this. It may not be there because it was the best wall humans ever invented. It may be there because it was the wall that matched the machine. The machine of post-war housing. The machine of modern construction. The machine of speed, scale, and cost. And somewhere behind the cracked paint of an old house, a plaster wall may still be standing quietly after 100 years, proving that the past was not always primitive. Sometimes it was just slower, and sometimes slower built stronger. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment below. Would you rather have old plaster walls or modern drywall in your home? And tell me what forgotten building material or lost construction method you want me to cover next. If you like stories about old materials, hidden building history, and the strange reasons better methods disappeared, subscribe to the channel. Because the walls, roofs, floors, and foundations around us still have a lot of secrets left inside them.